You're just in time for Newswatch on this 10th day of February 2021. Good evening. My name is Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Newswatch now begins. The Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, chaired by Deputy President William Ruto, has agreed to allocate to county governments an additional 53.5 billion in the 2021-2022 financial year. The new development means the devolved units will get an accumulated amount of 409,088 billion Kenya shillings in the period under consideration. The figure comprises equitable share of 370 billion Kenya shillings, conditional allocations from the share of national government revenue of 7.53 billion Kenya shillings, and conditional allocations from proceeds of loans and grants by development partners of 32.34 billion. The Deputy President told the meeting the proposed county government's equitable share of revenue raised nationally for the financial year 2021-2022 was arrived at by adjusting the county's 2020-2021 financial year allocations of 316.5 billion by 36.1 billion and converting 4 existing conditional grafts to county governments into unconditional grants. The meeting was attended by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, Governor's Commission for Revenue Allocation Chairperson Dr. Jane Kiringai, Controller of Budget Dr. Margaret Nyakango, Permanent Secretaries and County Executive Committee members.
I am not sure whether the figures reported by the Controller of Budget were verified or they're just based on the position or the reporting that was made by the counties. From National Treasury, we completely dispute most of this, because what is reported does not reflect what the actual situation is.
There a process of making sure that whatever their Auditor General raised issues, if they said there was missing this document and that document, has that been done in such a manner that we don't punish innocent people who are business people, and many of them are small business entities all over the place. County governments have now a borrowing framework that they can use, and all the aspects of the mechanism and the parameters that the council, every county has to measure up to be able to borrow have been provided. And as has been said here, the issues of presenting county by county has now been ironed out, and Treasury will oversee that process in a manner to keep to the guidelines that have been issued so that counties can access the window for borrowing. And I'm very happy today again that we have not only agreed on the window for borrowing by counties, but we have also agreed on the own source of revenue framework that is now going to be presented to Parliament.
I beg your pardon, the accumulated amount, the devolved units will get an accumulated amount of 409.88 billion Kenya shillings and not 409,000.88 billion Kenya shillings. Moving on, the government has announced that the second phase of Huduma number registration will start in April this year. Addressing the press in Nairobi, government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna said those who missed out in the first phase of registration still have the opportunity to register in the second phase, which will begin by the end of April. He also confirmed that the process of acquiring the Huduma number cards will be continuous, just like it has been with the identity cards. Mark Kimondo has more.
Here we are, we go.
Kenyans all over the country are expected to receive their Huduma number cards in 2 weeks' time, as the government prepares to begin the second phase of Huduma number cards registration in the month of April this year. While addressing the media in Nairobi, government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna expressed concern over the low response on the issuance of the cards, saying that out of 2.2 million messages sent, only 300,000 have been responded to.
It is sad that up to now, only 300,000 have been responded to. So a few of us would get this message and perhaps just ignore it. So we are asking Kenyans that when you get this message, please respond to it so that it makes it easy to be assisted.
Oguna disclosed that some 37 million Kenyans enrolled for Huduma number during the first phase of registration, of which 20 million were adults and 17 million below the age of 18 years. The cards are, however, being issued only to those who have attained 18 years and above.
In Nairobi, all the collection centers are in the 11 sub-counties. So every sub-county has collection centers. This will be found within places where you get ID cards.
Kenyans were also asked to be aware of fraudsters masquerading to be Huduma agents with an aim of conning people.
We are telling you that Huduma number card is free. Nobody should be asked to pay anything. And the message you'll receive is coming from Huduma number.
The process of acquiring the Huduma number will henceforth proceed just like it has been with the identity cards. However, a section of Kenyans have remained skeptical on the importance of the card, even as the government prepares to distribute the cards in other parts of the country. For Kelvin Bulali, a Nairobi resident, civic education on the importance of the card was supposed to be the first step taken by the government.
Kunafaa kuwa na civil education about this Huduma number. Hiyo sikuona cause Matiang'i alikuja tu na mathreats akasema msipo apply BBI hii Huduma number sijui amta access some services, national services. So people, for me, hata nilienda tu ku apply kwa sababu ya threats.
On his part, John Kungu, a Nairobi resident, said the Huduma number card will offer similar services as the identification cards, and so there is no need for it.
Hata tukiwa na hiyo ID hakuna kitu inatusaidianga nayo. Hata hiyo Huduma namba nini ya maana itatusaidia? Si ni mado tu walikulaga hapa do mingi wakitupea hizo Huduma namba wangeacha tukae na ID na lefi endelee poa wasaidie maskini.
However, different from John and Kelvin, Fred Mose believes that the transition will come about with positive impacts to Kenyans.
Kutravel like hapo mbeleni ulikuwa unatoka kama ni Busia unakuja Nairobi kutafuta huduma fulani, lakini sasa hiyo enable to access a government office online.
Those who missed out the first phase of registration still have the opportunity to register in the second phase, which will begin by the end of April this year. The government started mass distribution of Huduma number cards in Nairobi 6 days ago, with a good number of Nairobi citizens receiving messages on where and when to receive their cards. The Huduma cards form part of the new identification, as national identification cards are being phased out come the end of this year. Even as the government continues to employ different strategies aimed at combating the deadly coronavirus pandemic that has continued to wreak havoc in the country, government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna has warned that the disease is domicile among Kenyans, and failure to adhere by the rules and regulations set by the Ministry of Health, things might get worse. Mark Kimundo for Hope TV, Nairobi.
To matters judiciary, 13 applicants have expressed interest in replacing David Maraga as the country's next Chief Justice. According to the Judicial Service Commission, today marked the final day for submission of interest in the seat that was declared vacant on the 18th of January following the retirement of Maraga. Among the 13 applicants who have expressed interest in the seat is the President of the Court of Appeal, William Ouko, and another appellate judge, Martha Koome. Other judges on the list of applicants include D.K. Marete, Said Juma Chitembwe, and Matthew Nduma. Others include Senior Counsel Philip Maga and Fred Ngatia, Law Lecturer Professor Dr. Moni Wekesa, and fellow lecturer Professor Patricia Mbote are also on the list, as are Alice Jepkoech, Yano Otondi Ontweka, and Ombogi Matagaro. Also declared vacant was the judge of the Supreme Court on the 20th of January. According to the JSC Secretary Anne Amadi, 9 applicants have expressed interest in the seat. The Commission will thereafter shortlist and publicize the list of applicants within 14 days. Majority of Kenyans have condemned the move by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission (SRC) to approve 4.5 billion Kenya shillings car grant for members of county assemblies, MCAs and county assembly speakers. SRC chairperson Lynn Mengich, in a letter to Council of Governors chairman Martin Wambora, approved the car grant, which has elicited mixed reactions in the streets and on social media. Our current affairs reporter Dickens Luvanda spoke to a section of Kenyans and filed for us this report.
Less than 2 weeks after President Uhuru Kenyatta promised members of the county assemblies car grants in an effort to encourage them to pass the referendum BBI bill during his tour of the Central Kenya region, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission (SRC) has put this into effect.
I can tell you it is a guarantee that it will come. To be paid. Okay. So don't make passing the BBI conditional to the car grant. Car grant is coming.
SRC chairperson Lynn Mengich, in a letter to the Council of Governors chairman Martin Wambura, said the commission had agreed to convert the car loan facility that MCS get to a car grant, saying it will come at no extra expense from the 4.5 billion shillings allocated. According to the SRC, the benefit is only applicable to current county assembly speakers and the 2,224 MCAs, each of them getting 2 million shillings. Since the news broke on Tuesday, this has left Kenyans talking both on social media and in the streets, with majority of them wondering why such an amount of money should not be directed to development and empowerment projects or even pay the striking medics and healthcare workers.
Hiyo ifai kupewa watu kama watu wako na pesa. Hizo magari wako nazo saa hii wanafaa wanazitumia, wanafaa wapewe pesa ya mafuta badala ya pesa ya juu saa hizi mayutu kuwa wamejaa. Ukienda kama huko pale country bus, hapo hivyo unapata mavijana zaidi ya kama 1,000 wamekaa tu hapo idle, ni wachafu, hawana kitu ya kufanya, hawana kitu ya kukula. Vijana kama wale hata wakibaiwa trolley, hata wasibai hizo gari hizo zinabaiwa huko trolley, ama hata pikipiki kitu ina cost 100k. Utawasaidia life yao yote na wataishi poa na hakutakuwa na a lot of crime hii Kenya.
Hizi vitu basics zenye watu wanataka kama health, sana sana hizi time ya shida, pandemic, youth hawana job, as in tumetoka pandemic, bado watu wako stable. Kwa tunataka sasa tupate hata kama mradi, watu waambie after this pandemic tumefanya 1 2 3, tumeset some funds kando, watu wa access finance hata kama wani kutafuta biashara nini. But what you are all hearing is about BBI, as in so sad.
The best thing, primarily waongeze walimu, madaktari na civil servant. Wasiangalie mambo na siasa sana. They are our leaders and they are servants, not rulers.
So kupata hiyo milioni 2 inafaa, sababu hata wao ni public servant na hata wao ndio wanakuwa katika ile level ya chini katika uongozi wa top seats.
MCAs are seen as a critical part of the BBI process, since at least 24 county assemblies have to pass the bill for it to proceed to a referendum, with the government through spokesperson Cyrus Oguna on Wednesday urging Kenyans from all walks of life to support the proposed change of the Constitution 2010.
There must be a group of people that provide direction. There must be a group of people that people look to. There must be a group of people that makes decision, that can be able to lead the country from where it is to a better place. But there must be very wise people, not just people.
Kenyans and organizations that are opposed to the BBI had wondered why MCAs should be granted car grants at the expense of the taxpayer to pass a document which they say seeks to mutilate the constitution at the expense of a few. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV News Watch.
The National Assembly on Wednesday morning approved the calendar for the fifth current for the fifth session, and reviewed its sittings, allowing members to sit until late in the night. MPs will now hold sittings until 9 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays starting next week, and there will be no afternoon sittings. Our reporter Dolly Muringi tells us more.
After reopening for the fifth session on Tuesday, February 9th, the National Assembly has voted to adopt changes of the House sittings, putting on hold afternoon sitting.
In moving and 5 minutes for any other member speaking, including the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party, and the chairperson of the relevant committee, if the committee report is not moved by the chairperson of the relevant committee, and that 10 minutes before the expiry of the time, the mover shall be called upon to reply.
In the new standing orders, MPs will be convening on Tuesday from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and hold another evening sitting from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., while all Wednesday morning and afternoon sittings will be suspended effective February 17th.
No sittings at all on Wednesdays. And then C, the House will hold sittings on Tuesdays and Thursdays as follows. On Tuesday, in the afternoon, from 2:30 to 6 p.m.
We must set specific times to discuss the report of these commissions. So, Speaker, I have no problem. I mean, the way I get a car grant, MCS will get a car grant. But you see, the speed SRC is moving with that, and the speed which SRC doesn't want to move with the issues of the legislature tells you a lot.
Traditionally, the National Assembly holds afternoon sittings on Tuesday and Thursday, with Wednesday having morning and afternoon slots.
People used to agitate for more time to be given, and on the sixth day, you actually have a guillotine for anything not debated. But in the last 3 years or so, you found that after one day, there's even a cutting of the debate because there's not interest. And then we are not sure whether money has been allocated to the various departments to service our people. And even when we then go to interrogate it further, because we don't interrogate at the allocation.
We looked at this matter as a House Business Committee and felt that we need to sacrifice, given that this is the most critical session of the 12th Parliament. The next session, which is the 6th session, starting in January, you will see very few members will find time to come to the chambers. That has been the tradition over the years.
The lawmakers have agreed to have a sitting in the morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursday and 2 others in the afternoon.
That notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order number 27.1, providing for the date of commencement of a new session, the House shall resume for the 6th session on the Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 at 2:30 p.m. Honourable members, will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
According to the House, this is in line with the restriction imposed to contain the spread of COVID-19. Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV, News Watch.
And the Senate has officially approved the appointment of Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi as the new House Majority Chief Whip. Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata has officially vacated the same office after Speaker Kenneth Lusaka communicated changes to the office after receiving official communication from Deputy Majority Whip Fahia Haji on the changes following a Jubilee Party parliamentary group meeting at KICC yesterday.
It is increasingly becoming clear that if you are a legislator elected on a political party, if it gets to a point where you disagree, sometimes out of good principle and out of values that clash between what the party leader is pursuing and the people that you represent, you serve at a very precarious position. So therefore, we need to find a common ground discussion where Parliament is insulated, sort of, from the whims of politics that is sometimes not very useful to the business of this House.
It is only in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, where people are elected on a party, take a totally different trajectory, and enjoy the perks of that party. And nothing happens. You know, if we do not have party discipline in this country, we can as well say bye to democracy.
In the short stint that he has served, Senator Kangata has tried his best. We may not have agreed in his methods sometimes, but I think he's benefited from, being able to speak to every individual whenever we had issues where we didn't agree. And because of that, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to encourage Senator Omatangi to caucus.
Moving on, thinking of what to give as a Valentine's gift? Well, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has an idea. How about donating your blood? The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, has launched an investigation on a case of blood hoarding that had left the Kenyan blood banks with only 164,000 pints, hardly enough to cater for the country's needs. Mutahi speaking while officiating a Valentine's Day blood donation drive at the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Services, said that is now a thing of the past as the agency is under new management. Chris Wangoi tells us more.
Kenya found itself in a precarious situation last year following revelations that there was a shortage of blood, with Kenya having only 164,000 pints in its reserve at the Kenya Blood Transfusion Services, vis-a-vis the 1 million pints that are required annually. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, during an interview in 2020, mentioned there was a blood cartel who had deep roots in the system of blood collection and in some hospitals in the country who was hoarding blood donated by well-wishers and selling it to Somalia. While officiating a Valentine's Day blood donation drive at the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Center in Nairobi, Mutahi condemned the act. At the same time, praised the new management in place at the center, who are keen that the same situation does not recur.
Challenges that have been there, some of them have been not comical. If it were not so tragic, would have been comical. Because when we hear that our blood is sometimes servicing places like Mogadishu, then it would be funny if it wasn't so tragic. Because it meant that the management of this institution, left a bit to be desired, to speak politely. And I want to say that since the appointment of Dr. Duko and her team here, I just want to say that there's a turnaround in terms of the work that they are doing and the approach that they are using in blood, in national blood transfusion services.
Blood can be the difference between whether or not one will lose his or her life. The Valentine's Day blood donation drive seeks to collect blood in all centers across the country on the 13th and 14th of February to replenish the Kenyan blood bank and increase its stock.
I actually think it is a fantastic way of...
Mutahi says there is need to put in place a policy that organizes how blood collection is done and distributed, as well as an advanced system that can allow blood to be tracked to wherever it is distributed.
Is predicating transparency and efficiency on ICT. And that's why we have been discussing these matters with the World Bank and other donor institutions, so that in managing the blood that we get, it is not just a question of collecting the blood, it's not just a question of donors contributing blood, it's also a question of managing it and ensuring that we are able to track blood from the giver to the user, so that you know where it came from and where it finally went. That's critical for us, that element of transparency.
Although the system is already devolved, Mutahi says a lot needs to be done to ensure the system is more decentralized, to ensure efficient collection of blood from all parts of the country in order to grow and strengthen the capacity of the Kenyan Blood Bank.
Devolving the activities to the county level, and that is only formally, by the way, because it is already happening. The institution actually works from very many counties, just like we have been told. So is the structure and sustenance of the same, so that it is clear and it is documented and it is a way of doing things. But as for the devolved system, it is devolved.
Kenya's leading blood donors at the event, Aisha Dafala, who has donated 67 times, And Kennedy Sanya, who has donated 95 times, was celebrated and appointed blood donation ambassadors. Mutahi asked Kenyans to follow in the example of the two and donate this Valentine weekend to save the lives of other Kenyans in need.
You also go and donate some blood. And if I have to choose, if you have to make a choice between receiving flowers this Valentine's Day or receiving from your spouse or your Valentine a certificate to show that they donated blood, tell them, forfeit the flowers, give me a certificate of blood donation. For me, that's a fantastic Valentine's, is a fantastic Valentine's gift. And therefore, let us make it a habit. In fact, Dr. Duko proposed you should make it a habit on the 14th of every year. As people are going for dinner in the evening, they have no blood, they have no problem giving you blood or giving us blood, because every single person walking around this country has that gift in their veins.
If you cannot give blood this week, please, on your birthday, jitokeza and save a life.
By the end of December, I want to have mobilized 100,000 regular donors.
Grace Angoi, Hope TV News Watch.
ODM and Jubilee chairpersons from Nairobi County have agreed to support the Building Bridges initiative that is aimed at amending the constitution through a referendum. ODM party leader Raila Odinga, who met the officials on Wednesday in Nairobi, urged them to go out and talk to the residents about the contents of the BBI bill, which he said, if passed, will benefit Kenyans more than ever before. He said Kenyans should focus on the document and allow the courts to deal with the pending cases. Here's our reporter Alice Diana with that and more.
1, 2, 3.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga, who has been at the front line in drumming up support for the Building Bridges Initiative BBI, has exuded confidence that the Constitution Amendment Draft Bill 2020 will be endorsed by at least 24 county assemblies by the end of the month. Addressing the press on Wednesday after holding a closed-door joint meeting of Jubilee and ODM chairpersons drawn from 17 Nairobi constituencies, Raila said the process of debating the BBI bill is going well in the county assemblies.
So far, 2 counties have passed it. Others are still considering it. But I mentioned that we think that by the end of this month, we will have reached the critical mass. Yeah. So I think it is going on very well because counties are being careful to ensure that there is public participation before they pass it. But otherwise, I mean, the ball is in their court.
The former Prime Minister also says they are not worried about the court's decision to bar IEBC from facilitating the BBI referendum, noting that the process of law change at the assemblies and parliament will not be affected. The High Court on Monday temporarily stopped IEBC from submitting the bill to the counties, pending hearing and determination of 7 petitions filed challenging the process. Odinga has appealed to the courts to expedite on any pending matters related to the BBI to allow ample time for the projected referendum.
We are not there. The judges just say that they are going to be, that the IBC should not proceed with the process of referendum until they have made their ruling. But the courts also live in Kenya. They're not living in heaven. They understand the urgency of the matter. So we know that our courts are going to be reasonable and will deal with this matter in terms of the importance that it deserves. So we are not worried. In any case, we have not reached the referendum stage. We are still at the stages of the counties. From here, it will go to the Parliament. Both.
The Jubilee and ODM party officials who agreed to work as a team in their respective constituencies in Nairobi assured the opposition leader that they will work round the clock to push the BBI agenda in the city and ensure everyone understands what it stands for.
kwa kauli moja tumekubaliana kama wajumbe wa ODM na Jubilee hapa Nairobi. Number 1 tunaunga handshake mkono, number 2 tunaunga BBI mkono mpaka mwisho. Tunataka kushukuru zile county tayari zimeshapitisha, tukingojea county yetu ya Nairobi ambayo tumehakikishiwa watapitisha wiki ijayo Alhamisi. Nataka kusema kwamba hizo county zingine zote zipitishe, tuende referendum, tuweze kushinda hawa maadui, tuambia kwamba Nairobi ni BBI.
Ijiri, tunaenda kuchapa Ijiri. Ijiri ambaye ni ya BBI. Tunajua ya kwamba chenye kimekuwa kikiendelea ni propaganda. Ambaye kitabu Biblia inasema ya kwamba watu wangu hupotea kwa sababu ya. Sasa already tuko na document, tunapeleka kwa ground ili watu wetu waweze kujua the truth, ile information ambayo iko ndani.
Reports indicate that the meeting was convened to consolidate forces ahead of the tabling of the BBI motion in the Nairobi County Assembly. Siaya County Assembly and Kisumu County Assembly have already passed the bill. For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
We now take our first commercial break on News Watch. Tonight we have much more in store, so stay tuned.
Tunakuletea burudani safi kutoka wanamuziki wa nyimbo za sifa na ibada, mahojiano ya moja kwa moja na mafunzo ya hali ya juu.
Dhamira ya mtu ikifa anaweza fanya anything. Because kile kinanitofautisha na mbuzi ni dhamira.
There was this time niliambia Mungu, mimi samahani Mungu, lakini naona umenifanya mimi kuwa daraja. Sitaki.
Ni mahali pa uchipuzi na ulezi wa vipaji.
Mwimbaji anaweza itisha akitaka, lakini unajua hiyo ni sauti
hajanunua.
Hujanunua, hiyo ni umebarikiwa nayo. So hiyo unaweza mupeane aidha bure ama, lakini hii pande nyingine sisi invest, ni investment ona.
Tunabeba mwili, lakini mimi sikujua hii ni maagano nafanya.
Ungana naye Mwalimu Shaban Brima kila Ijumaa saa 2 jioni na marudio kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni.
Machozi ya furaha nishangaze baba, mashuhuda wangu watambua wewe ni Mungu.
Join John Carson every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Carson every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping it Hope TV, where you look and live. The Orange Democratic Movement Disability League has defended remarks made by Suna East MP Jeanette Mohammed to nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura last week. According to the league, the comments by Jeanette to Isaac Mwaura were as an individual to an individual without targeting a group of people or community. Jeanette had slammed Mwaura during a rally in Turkana, sentiments that saw the Albinism Society of Kenya condemn the statement as he asked the legislator to apologize or take up the matter with NCIC. Junet later apologized but remained firm on the character of the nominated senator who was recently kicked out of the Jubilee Party.
ODM as a party does not discriminate against persons with disabilities. To construe that a comment attributed by Honorable Junet Mohammed to Honorable Isaac Maura as an individual was demeaning, of course, to persons with disabilities, and we own that as a party. Honorable Junet Mohammed's comments were purely an individual against an individual, and it was not an individual against a group. And in this case, the group is persons with disabilities, or rather persons with albinism. It is important to note that in a political context, the comment was attributed to the fact that it was attributed to the fact that it had instigated violence, which brought security threat to persons with disabilities in the said meeting that was happening in Githurai. ODM Disability League position against violence and hate speech remains consistent, even as it condemns insensitivity towards persons with disabilities by the political class. We do not condone insensitivity and hate speech. ODM supports and recognizes persons with albinism as part of persons with disabilities and has drawn plans to support persons with disabilities through eradicating barriers that hinder participation, including plans to provide sunscreen lotions to persons with albinism who are members of this great party.
To the coast, Taita Taveta County Governor Granton Samboja has been chosen as the chairman for the Jumuiya ya Counties za Pwani JKP during a high-level consultative forum that was attended by governors from the coastal counties of Mombasa, Kilifi and Tana River. During the forum held at Governor Samboja's residence in Mwakishimba, the new JKP chairman, who will serve for 2 years, noted it was agreed that all counties in the region will put together a united front in a bid to ensure unity and sustainable development. The leaders also spoke about politics based on unity of purpose, saying the region should now stand firm in the national politics and be part of the government come 2022.
Kuwashukuru magavana wenzangu, gavana wa Mombasa Joho, gavana wa Tana River Meja Godhana, gavana wa Kilifi Kingi, pamoja na gavana Twaha ambaye ndiye alifanya secondment kwa kunichagua leo kuwa mwenyekiti wa Jumuiya ya Pwani za kaunti zetu kwa kipindi cha miaka miwili. Kwa hivyo magavana wenzangu, asanteni sana, na ajenda kuu ni kuleta kaunti hizi zote pamoja kwa mambo ya maendeleo. Na pia leo tumekuwa na mazungumzo ya kufana sana kama magovernors, na tumekubali yana kwa kauli moja kama magavana wa Coast Region kwamba raundi hii kisiasa hatutakuwa kwa menu, tutakuwa kwa meza pale masuala yote ya Kenya ya kisiasa na maendeleo yatakuwa yakifanyiwa. And that is a commitment, and we are going to lead our people from the front. Na ndio tumesema sote kwa kauli moja, wale wote tumewaunga mkono kwa miaka hiyo yote, wakati wa kurudisha mkono ni sasa. God bless you and God bless Coast Province. Together as one, forever, this is the time. Thank you.
Taking a look at COVID-19 numbers today, 173 people have tested positive to the disease out of a sample size of 3,784 tested in the last 24 hours. The total confirmed positive cases are now 102,221. The cumulative tests so far conducted are 1,223,827. Fortunately, 186 patients have recovered from the disease, 163 from the home-based isolation and care, while 23 are from various health facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 84,728. Sadly, 2 patients have succumbed to the disease, pushing the cumulative fatalities to 1,791. 353 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,283 are on home-based isolation and care. 34 patients are in the intensive care unit, 15 of whom are on ventilatory support and 17 on supplemental oxygen. 2 patients are under observation. The distribution of cases by counties for the top 10 is as follows. Nairobi has 133, Mombasa 7, Uasin Gishu 5, Kiambu and Nakuru 4, Machakos, Makueni and Migori 3, Kajiado and Kericho 2. DCI detectives in Nakuru are continuing with investigations after 3 people were arrested with several mobile phones. The 3 were in possession of 294 phones alleged to have been stolen from different people within Nakuru County and are believed to be in the business of selling stolen phones and laptops. Nakuru County Criminal Investigations Officer Anthony Sunguti noted that the 3 were arrested in a crackdown conducted by DCI detectives at Kaptembo in Nakuru West Sub-County. Gender Chief Administrative Secretary Rachel Shebesh, accompanied by CAS for Youth Affairs Nadia Abdallah, Nairobi Deputy Governor Anne Kananu and Nairobi Metropolitan Service Director Mohamed Badi have today led a sensitization and check issuance forum at City Hall, Nairobi County. The leaders issued checks worth 56.854 million Kenya shillings, benefiting 400 youth and women in Nairobi County, and urged the beneficiaries to invest the money wisely for the intended purpose and repay so that others can borrow.
Tunafanya kazi pamoja na Mheshimiwa the Governor kuhakikisha kuwa wanawake na youth walioko katika Nairobi wanastahili kuangaliwa kwa upande ya uwezo, na Madam Shebesh leo amehakikisha kuwa hii matarajio ya vijana na wanawake leo imezaa matunda. Shauri anapeana hizo checks kwa different wards within Nairobi. Wingi watafaidika na hii uwezo, na tafadhalini, kama vile Madam Shebesh amesema, put into good use of these funds.
Kumwambia sisi wangu wa gender, sisi wa PSM na sisi wa finance, I would like you to look into it on how we can partner with the national government, the Women and Youth Enterprise, put some funds aside and see how we can work with the national government to complement what they're doing and to support the youth and women of Nairobi County.
The County Assembly of Nyandarua on Tuesday evening once again tabled a notice of motion for impeachment of Speaker Wahome Ndegwa in a tense-filled house, attracting government and other human rights observers. This is after a Nakuru court late last month annulled Wahome's last impeachment, terming it as unprocedural. The House business was severally interrupted by point of orders from MCAs who wanted Wahome to rescue himself before the notice was tabled. But Wahome stood his ground that he was still the Speaker as ordered by the court and will continue playing and performing his responsibilities both in and out of the House as the Speaker. In the notice, the mover and majority leader King'ori Wambogo accused the Speaker of corruption and unethical practices through nepotism by employing at least 3 members of his immediate family.
Wahome is a cornerstone in terms of interpretation and appreciation of the law. And I cannot mark and admire myself on issues that touch on me. I have written to the House Business Committee and told them categorically, I will deal with the other business of a speaker, and I think the court order is very clear. When it comes to that notice, I will actually be jogging getting out of the chamber.
I'm Honorable Edmund Wabogo King'ori, the majority leader in the County Assembly of Nyandarua. I've just agreed that as a House business, and it is just adopted in the House, that by tomorrow, in the morning, the business is only one. Now the substantive motion that will be moved by me as a mover, and really we'll be able now to take the whole day, morning session and the afternoon session. And actually we shall accord the Honorable Speaker to come, like to be heard. So obviously in the morning he will come together with his lawyer if need be, and then from there we move a motion, and then we go to the roll call for voting. It shall be for the public everywhere, including in the social media. Obviously, as the one that's gross misconduct, that is one. The violation of the Constitution and other laws, there are many, and it is captured in the motion.
The government, in partnership with other partners, have deployed different interventions to contain a second wave of desert locusts that continues to wreak havoc in the country. While addressing the press in Nairobi on Wednesday, government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna said the government is still undertaking spraying activities in the most affected areas of Wajir, Mandera, Isiolo, and Turkana. He noted that 300 National Youth Service men and women have also been deployed on the ground to assist in spraying, even as the government continues to increase the number of aircrafts to assist in spraying activities.
The swarms have been sighted. So the counties that currently are affected largely are actually 6. But the government, working together with various development partners, and some, of course, them being FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, World Bank through Emergency Locust Response Program, and county governments, have deployed interventions to contain the situation. A lot of work have been done by the government, of course, collaborating with these other development partners to ensure that the counties where they have, like serious locust invasion have been cited, that they are contained within those counties so that they do not go, move out to other neighboring counties. Now, out of that intervention, initially 203 swarms had been cited in various counties, and 121 of them have been contained. So that leaves about 90-something swarms that are currently being contained to ensure that the damage that they would be able to occasion on crops and vegetation is completely minimized.
Internationally, a team of experts investigating the origins of COVID-19 in China have dismissed the theory it was leaked from a lab. World Health Organization researchers in Wuhan say the virus likely jumped from animals to humans, but they have yet to identify the animal host that triggered the outbreak. Coronavirus has killed 2.3 million, infected close to 107 million people, and devastated the global economy. Questions over the handling of the initial outbreak in central China have sparked an intense diplomatic row between Washington and Beijing.
We can also agree that we have found evidence of wider circulation of the virus in December. It was not just only a cluster outbreak in the Huanan market, but the virus was also circulated outside of the market.
There's no indication of the SARS-CoV-2 in the population before December 2019, so there's not enough evidence to determine whether there was a spread in Wuhan before December 2019.
But since Wuhan is not a city or an environment close to these bat environments, a direct jump from bats to the city of Wuhan is not very likely, and therefore we have tried to find what other animal species were introduced and moving in and out of the city that could have potentially introduced or contribute to introduce the virus, in particular in the Huanan market.
Let us take another commercial break. Business news is on the way.
Join us every Sunday for unlimited, uplifting, powerful worship, only on Extended Worship. Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen. Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu Jesus. I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit kakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Welcome to Activate.
It's a good morning. Good morning.
Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Sweet Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated.
Yes, indeed.
Activate. Every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on Hope FM, where you listen and live.
Welcome back. Absa Bank Kenya PLC has celebrated its one-year anniversary in the Kenyan market with a commitment to significantly invest towards transforming customer experience. The bank announced that it plans to invest over 1.6 billion Kenya shillings in technology to enhance service delivery. Speaking at a media briefing at the bank's Queensway branch in Nairobi on Wednesday, Absa Managing Director Jeremy Awori noted that delivering a differentiated customer experience remains at the core of the bank's growth, transformation and returns strategy. In the next year, the bank will be rolling out over 60 different technology projects, all aimed at transforming customer experience.
I'd like to start off by saying a big thank you to all of you for sparing the time to join us today as we celebrate this momentous milestone in the history of our business. As we look forward in the next year, we'll be investing more than 1.6 billion Kenya shillings in over 60 different technology projects, all aimed at transforming our customer experience. Some of these include the automation of our loan top-up processes, a first in the market move, which will enable our customers to apply and get loan top-ups on their existing loans within a few minutes, and also at the touch of a button. We will also be rolling out a fully fledged online business banking platform in the coming weeks, among other exciting innovations across our business segments. When I stand before you at a time like this, looking into next year, I want to be able to celebrate another year of positively impacting lives. I want the Mama Mboga, who is our customer, to have an expanded business. I want our corporate and business customers to have employed more Kenyans. Exactly 1 year ago that we opened a new chapter of our business as we changed our brand and corporate name to Absa and renewed our commitment to this country, a commitment to bring possibilities to life. As we grappled with the disruptive impact of the pandemic on our economic and social stability, we began to see opportunities for positive impact. We were challenged to show our humanity in the way that we respond and to demonstrate our agility and collaboration by adapting our ways of working. The evolving nature of the pandemic meant that we had to rethink our priorities. We focused our energies on saving lives and safeguarding livelihoods. Today, I can confidently say that we have lived up to our promise of being a force for good.
Players in the agricultural sector are set to reap good returns from their activities when the warehouse receipt system is fully operational. The WRS is a state corporation officially established under the Warehouse Receipt Systems Act No. 8 of 2019 and was launched by the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya on July 29, 2020. The system offers farmers and traders a channel through which they deposit their commodities and produce in certified warehouses and are issued with a warehouse receipt as a proof of ownership. Warehouse Receipt System Council, led by its chairperson Jane Mombi, on Wednesday launched its activities in Nyeri County to sensitize the devolved unit officials and farmers on the undertakings of the newly established state corporation.
So with this new system, what farmers will be doing is that they are able to actually deposit their produce with a licensed warehouse. And once they get that, they will get a receipt, which we are calling the warehouse receipt. And this is a bankable receipt, meaning once they have that, they can walk into any bank and they can access advance payment using that receipt. And this way, we will actually be dealing not just with the issue of price, but also with the whole issue of quality, because a lot of the quality is lost as we handle this produce and try to keep it using our own low technologies at the farm levels. So we are very excited as a county government, and we have committed to the council that we will work with them. We will help identify and actually license the warehouses. We will sensitize our farmers, because we think this is a very timely reform that is going to better the returns of our farmers wherever they are.
We are visiting counties so that first and foremost we are able to establish this partnership between ourselves and the counties for the simple fact that we are to support the counties in this endeavor. This is where the farmers are, this is where the production is happening, this is likely to be where the warehouses are going to be, although there is no limit in terms of where produce can be stored in the country. We understand there are over 200 warehouses all over the country, most of which are under the purview of the National Cereals Board. And the National Cereals Board has actually said that they have availed space to the tune of 7 million bags to anyone who wishes to work with a warehouse situation.
The Safaricom Foundation and CBM Kenya have successfully completed the third phase of the Wezesha Elimu project with a mobile clinic held in Homa Bay Level 5 Hospital. Through the program, the two organizations aim to address the factors that limit children with disabilities from accessing education. During this third phase, 122 children underwent corrective surgeries, 78 received assistance devices, 129 parents, guardians and caregivers were trained on home-based care, and 5 schools were modified for better accessibility. Other activities included sensitization of community members about COVID-19 and capacity building sessions for different Ministry of Education members.
Today we are in Homa Bay County, the referral hospital, level 5, to participate in a mobile clinic that is being implemented under the Wezesha Elimu program. This is a program that started in 2016 in partnership with Christian Blind Mission, ICQ Kenya, and the local county governments who actually provide infrastructure for us to conduct the assessments, the physiotherapy, and eventual referral of these children to Kijabe Mission Hospital. So this marks like the end of phase 3 of this program, where we have seen 122 children get operated on to rectify various disabilities of the legs, and placement of the same children in schools, as well as improvement of infrastructure to enable mobility of these children when they're in school to access classrooms. We have also gone a step further to provide assistive devices to these children who have undergone surgeries to enable them operate normally like any other child despite their conditions.
However, some of the children with disabilities have issues that can be corrected. So that's where cure comes in. We call them treatable disabilities. So once the disability has been treated, the child is able to go back to school. Now, on the school angle, some of the children can go to school, but the schools are not ready. So with the same project, we also have what we are calling school modification. School modification is working with schools and making sure that they're accessible. Say, for example, a wheelchair can move there, a child with crutches can walk there, a child is able to use the washroom. That's what we call school modification.
Well, that's it for Newswatch tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Join us tomorrow, same place, same time. For now, have a good night. God bless you.